Now we're gonna talk about comments that Sheryl Crow made. That Sheryl Crow made, um, criticizing Drake using AI. Tupac, I guess what was it? The tailor made verse. He used the
Yeah.
AI Tupac verse that has since
Mhm.
been removed from the internet off a cease and desist. And Sheryl Crow used that as an example to express her problem with AI in general and her problem with Drake utilizing this when it comes to his music. So Sheryl Crow obviously is. I I think it's safe to call her a legend when it comes to like country
Yeah.
music. Isn't she
Yeah.
that
You
big?
can. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can.
So Sheryl Crow has an issue with Drake using AI on this tailor-made freestyle song. The use of AI technology in music, but especially in general, has a lot of people upset and frightened. However, it does not seem like it is going to stop evolving anytime soon. Like all things in life, it has its benefits and drawbacks. Only time will tell if people stick to being against it or come around to the idea. But right now, it seems like the general consensus is that it's ruining authenticity. That is certainly a valid argument, and it is one that Grammy Award winning singer Sheryl Crow is using against Drake. According to All Hip Hop, the Soak Up the Sun songwriter vented her frustrations with BBC in a feature about this, but also her personal experience with AI and thoughts on it overall. Part of the reason this was a topic in the first place was because the longtime vocalist talks about the controversial tech on her new album, Evolution. Specifically, this message is spread on the title track as it refers to a time when a producer replaced her vocals with AI John Mayer. With the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef being so public, artists even like Sheryl Crow know generally what has been going on in hip hop. As we said, the Missouri native was more than displeased with the Canadian superstar, labeling his actions as hateful and antithetical to the life force that exists in all of us. Crow continued, "You cannot bring people back from the dead and believe that they would stand for that. I'm sure Drake thought, yeah, I shouldn't do it, but I'll say sorry later. But it's already done and people will find it even if he takes it down. Tailor Made Freestyle was eventually removed due to a cease and desist from legal representatives for Tupac's estate. But she does have a strong point as what goes on the internet stays there forever. This is partially why Crow is nervous for society, but also for her kids. She told her teenagers, "You're growing up with this thing, and it doesn't seem dangerous to you because you're a frog in a pot of water. But the water is only just starting to boil, and you won't realize it's getting hotter until we're all floating on the top." What are your thoughts on Sheryl Crow putting Drake on blast for using an AI Tupac feature? Are her criticisms valid? Why or why not? So on and so forth. So Sheryl Crow, the latest individual to publicly criticize, scold Aubrey Graham, this time for his use of an AI generated Tupac verse for a song that's a freestyle in name only because that song isn't actually a freestyle. But what do you make of Sheryl Crow's comments with respect to Drake?
Yeah, I didn't
Drizzy.
I didn't expect Sheryl Crow out of all people to be tagged into this. Uh, and jump from the top turnbuckle like she just did right there. I applaud her for calling him out for that disgraceful act. Um, Now it got taken away, it got put away and stuff like that. But when we're dealing with a hip hop icon, in air quotes, if you will, like Drake, who a lot of people follow and emulate and stuff like that, there, if he's doing it, then it might have been considered cool and acceptable.
Yes.
And that was the part about this that I didn't care for. And it was an irresponsible use of his abilities. Um, and it's corny on top of it. Oh, what the hell you was thinking with that? But I agree with her. In the sense that her being an artist herself, she doesn't want to see herself be misappropriated, or what I'm saying, she don't want to be turning in her grave when people down here messing around with her stuff 20 years from now. So it's just not right. It's something about art and AI that just don't jive with me, man. at first I liked all the prompts and stuff like that. You know, it's kind of slick and pretty cool, but the more that it's, it's enhancing, and the more that they're doing with it, the less comfortable I'm becoming with it. Now the new thing on TikTok right now is, popular memes, but they're bringing AI to like interrupt the moment that's iconic. So then instead of, the person saying, "Ha, got him," you know, right before he do the laugh, he'll stand up and walk away, and some weird drum 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 music will start playing. And I started blocking those accounts. I was like, I don't want to see this. This is weird. And I was like, so y'all gonna start doing this with AI? So y'all gonna make everything AI deep fakery? Is this what we have to deal with? So yeah, I'm not here for it. However, there's another story out there floating around where I guess it's Drake people, Universal and stuff like that is suing the apps that helped produce the BBL Drizzy beat. So the guy that made the AI song BBL Drizzy, they're that you know Universal and all those other companies and stuff are coming in and saying y'all basically scraped our music to generate stuff like this. So we're taking y'all, we're suing y'all, and we're blah, blah, blah. And so that's an interesting type of thing too. So we'll see what that does. So if there's some type of, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how they're going to start doing intellectual property versus voices versus like all of this stuff is just too weird for me. And I don't care for any of it. And I wish all of it can go away, but of course that's not realistic. This here to stay. And so the variations of it is going to come out that I'm not going to be comfortable with it. There's going to be a song that I'm like, hey man, this thing kind of slap. And then somebody goes, "Hey, it's AI." Say that's like great, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that to me. And I didn't want that, and so I didn't consent for that. So yeah, man, I don't care for that stuff, man. So we'll see what happens with all of this stuff. But I stand with Miss Sheryl Crow. I did not have this on my bingo card this year, but I appreciate her tapping in and laying a haymaker. But what are your thoughts on Miss Sheryl Crow digging in on Drake for using AI generated voices?
The biggest problem that I have with AI is that ultimately what it is going to do is replace humans, and it is going to take away opportunities that would otherwise go to humans. That's what I don't like about it.
Mhm.
And it might seem cool, but the way I look at it is, let's say an artist decides to use an AI feature of someone who's not alive. Well, and I guess one can, if arguably, right, I'm not necessarily saying that this is 100% the case, but the way that my brain processes this is that could have been a feature that went to an actual artist. It could have been a feature that went to an actual person, give them the opportunity to get on a song, to get some exposure, to make some money. Whomever that artist is, that's a feature that could have gone to fill in the blank, right? I don't know who it is, but I
Mhm.
kind of look at it that way. It's a full circle type thing. Like the more stuff like this starts to happen and become prevalent and more normal, then what you're going to see is less opportunities to go around for actual humans, actual artists. As the technology becomes more advanced and AI is able to speed up the production process for music, now you can cut out more. That's less opportunities for more engineers. That's less opportunities for, sound editors. That's less opportunities for producers. If AI is able to, you know, um, if AI is able to streamline the process and make it what's the word I'm looking for? Um make it, I'll think of it. But when AI is able to come into it and do that, you're in effect taking away opportunities for people to get on, to make money, to get exposure, so on and so forth. And that's the problem. That's the thing about AI that makes me the most uncomfortable. And that's inevitably the purpose that I believe it serves. Whether it's entertainment, music, in business. I don't care what industry we're talking about. AI's ultimate goal is to streamline processes by removing actual physical labor, removing people from the equation, so that you can, in theory, produce something of an approximate level of quality without having to pay people for it. It's all about money. It's a bottom line thing. You want to be able to maximize profits at the top by cutting out work along the way. That's the purpose that AI serves, and that's what makes me the most uncomfortable. So I now in saying that, I don't like AI. That was my point in saying that. I don't like AI for that reason. And as someone who does not like I have to champion Sheryl Crow's comments. Sheryl Crow's old school. She's in her 60s. She comes from a time when you created and produced art authentically without having to resort to weird, gimmicky technological tactics in order to make something sound the way you want it to make. You know, if it's that real, grab your instrument, grab your drums, grab your guitar, get on the microphone, get on the boards, make real music. Don't resort to this weird circus act abomination of a form of audio that you call music because you can use some weird bot technology to create a sound that can cut out opportunities and get rid of the middleman and remove other humans from the equation. And I know that that wasn't Drake's intention, but my point with using Drake as an example is the more it goes on, the more you're going to get rid of authentic human connectivity from these various things, whether it's art, movies, entertainment. The movie industry, one of the biggest gripes with the actors and writers when they went on strike was coming up with a way to protect these people in the event that these greedy ass studios figure out a way to use AI to get rid of a lot of the things that these people used to do. Like, what protection do these people have when these greedy studios come up with some sort of AI technology that can write whole movie scripts? Now you don't need writers anymore. What are those people supposed to do? So these people needed protections. I was glad they went on strike. Good for them. Because you can't just have this stuff run roughshod on people. And you need more people in the streets speaking out against it. Because, and I've said this before, just because it's new doesn't mean it's better. Just because it's happening now and it's new and it's a new form of technology and it's shiny and glossy, that doesn't mean it's good and better. New
Correct.
does not equate to better. And a lot of these people on the internet will tell you that it does. And if you dissent against that, then you just can't get with the times and you're old and whatever the case. But everything new isn't better. People need shit to do. What are people going to do when you get rid of these various faculties that humans used to occupy? Because you can speed up the process and make more money. And who are you making more money for? Not not everybody else. 5%ers, 1%ers. So I like what she had to say because what Sheryl Crow had to say is emblematic of what she sees coming down the pike in the future. And I see the same thing. Drake gonna be good. It doesn't matter whether Drake does an AI feature Tupac song or not, or whether the Tupac estate cease and desist him. Okay, whatever. Drake's gonna take the song down. Who cares? He's still wealthy beyond his. He's still gonna be good for the rest of his life. He's still generationally wealthy. So who cares how it affects him? Because it really doesn't. He just does shit for fun because he feels like it. But what is this doing for everybody else? What effect is this having in the grand scheme of things in terms of people needing stuff to do? People needing to be able to hone in and make a living off of and exist in the world, contributing their proficiencies to society. If you eliminate that, where does that leave us? So I
Mhm.
like what she said. I hear where she's coming from. And on another separate note, I'm gonna just say this real quick about Drake. Like, it comes as no surprise to me that Drake would attempt to do something like this
Right,
because
bro.
when you're an inauthentic individual,
Right, dog.
you'll try to come up with inauthentic ways to make music.
Correct,
So you'll
man.
come up with the weird old gimmicky doohickey AI verse because why not make inauthentic music? I'm an inauthentic person. So
Exactly.
I shouts out to Sheryl Crow. I don't know her from a can of paint. If Sheryl Crow were to walk into Best Buy tomorrow, I wouldn't know it was her. Honestly, I wouldn't. Like, I can Google her to see what she looks like, but generally speaking, I wouldn't know her if she walked into this room right now. But I appreciate these comments, and once again, Drake can kick rocks.
Yeah, whenever I see her, you have to tell me that Sheryl Crow. I'm like, who's that? Because
Right.
I know who that is. And I was like, that's Sheryl Crow. And I go, oh yeah. But what do I know Sheryl Crow from? I don't even know where I know her from. I just know of Sheryl Crow. You know what I'm saying? So that's how she has to be legendary because she been in the game for a minute. I know that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? She been in the game since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So hey, shouts out to her, man. And I agree with you, man. His inauthenticity, um, it had to permeate out of his pores so much so that he had to go consult an AI generated verse from Tupac and thought that was hot. So he need to go sit down somewhere, man. And yeah, and keep AI away from art. I am not here for that. Um, I feel as though art is one of the last things
Yeah.
that humanity is holding on to right now. It's kind of like they took everything out of schools and now the kids are just whatever. They took home ec out, they took wood shop out, they took all this
Hmm.
stuff out,
Yep.
and people are losing qualities. And this is like taking art out of the equation in life, not in school either. And one thing that art does is it's an extreme release for artists, people who observe or take in the art, whatever form of media it is. It alleviates and helps them in life. I don't know how many songs that I'll be listening to randomly in a playlist will pop up. I'm like, man, I ain't heard this song in years. But I remember when I was in college and I had to study, and it was me against the world in this paper, and I got to turn it in for midnight. Yeah, bro, I had to go through some meditative states, and these
Yeah.
songs got me through a lot of that. I don't listen to all of them again, but when I hear some of them, I go, "Man, thank you, song."
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for that artist, if it wasn't for that artist, you know what I'm saying, I would have found another song. But that song's the one that got me through.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, music does that for people. Art does that for people. And when you got a thing in here basically scraping history to give you a remix of something that was already created, you didn't give me creation. So I don't like it. And yeah, man, I'm here against the stand against AI, bro. Me against Skynet, bro. I'm here for
Yeah. Yeah, I am too. I am not a fan. Get it out of here.
yeah,
I'm
dude.
not with it either. Shouts out to Sheryl Crow. I feel her 100%. And a
You
lot of the detractors will, they'll probably age shame her. They'll probably go ageism on her. Just like with everything else. If you don't like something, it inherently is because you're out of touch. You're too old. You come from a different generation, so you don't get it. And no, man, I like that. That's why I'll be feeling post retirement Tom Brady, because I don't care how old a person is. What is it that they have to say? Does it make sense? Like, it
Mhm.
doesn't matter. Not everything new is good. And just because somebody has a dissenting opinion, it doesn't mean they're out of touch. Maybe it means that what they have to say makes sense. And we can't just live in this world where everything is good and okay and we don't need to check nothing. Just let it all in. Let it all in. But I do believe that people, for whatever reason, thirst for chaos and anarchy. We For whatever reason we thirst for it, and it sucks. But I hate AI. I'm right there with you.
Bruh. Sheesh.